And there was nothing in terms of esports at the time, except for Travis's stuff, which again was a bit more casual. It was like the personalities aspect. It was like friends of his and other pro players. And it was more fun. It was quite light, you know? And then what happened was, when I was back at home, I was working for On Gamers. And then the next year at On Gamers, Travis was still doing some of his show. Whose League Is It Anyway? And it was a show where he had personalities on, not pros, like people from within the industry talking about esports and League of Legends. And he was missing a guest for the upcoming week. And we worked for On Gamers as partners, colleagues at the time. And he literally just said, like, oh, could you come on the show, like, last minute on this day? And I said, well, okay, but you know, if I come on, what it's going to be like, right? I'm just going to be myself. And he was like, yeah, I know. And I did it. And this is unfortunately the last ever episode of Whose League Is It Anyway? And it's unfortunately the one where he deleted the VOD because he didn't like that. Unfortunately, the way when I went on the show, I've sometimes jokingly described it as like episode 0 of Summoning Insight or the pilot for Summoning Insight. The way I am on that show is the way I am on Summoning Insight. You know, I don't just put up with any guff and I don't just listen to nonsense. And if people just say some ridiculous opinion, I make them justify it. Oh yeah, I'm just going to sit here and ignore that and then just say whatever I think. No, it's combative and it's fun and there's edgy jokes and all these things. And unfortunately, because I did that, and obviously I wasn't a fan of that show anyway, and that's why I told him I'm going to be myself, you know. I don't like that sort of light throwaway stuff as much when I think they should be talking about serious stuff. Unfortunately, a lot of people aligned with my way of thinking, and they were like, oh, I love the stuff Thorin did on that show, and he wrecked them all, and it just showed how they don't really follow the game that closely, and they're not that into it, which was true to some degree, but some of them were quite vicious about how they said it. And unfortunately, that upset Travis so much, and some of the people on the show, he just like deactivated the VOD. And so you can only see it now if you go and watch like a highlight video of just my highlights of the show. I said, but you can't see the rest of the show, unfortunately. And like, as I said, that was the last ever episode. And literally, while I was doing the show, while the show was going on live, Monty actually messaged me on Skype. And he was literally just saying something like, haha, why are you on this show with like these people? Like, they're just talking nonsense. And I was just like, haha, yeah, I know. Like, while they were talking, you know. And then when I was wrecking them all, he just said something like, this is hilarious. Like, let's f this shit. Let's just start our own podcast now. Let's do that idea. And so basically, after that, I came up with the idea of Summoning Insight.